Hello and welcome to the Gamers Table Independent Edition. It is Friday, and we're reviewing Monsters Manual. This is a created as you go dungeon exploring type game for up to 8 players, which is a mistake. Anyway, you have been kidnapped by the devious Mastermind to partake in his deadly game of deceit and survival. Monsters of the cinema screen have come to life inside the mysterious mansion. Work together to try and survive its horrors and find the escape. However, every player also begins with a secret agenda which describes their true nature. Strategy, teamwork, and diplomacy are all essential success. Let the games begin. And before we get any further, we'll just... Component version. Component version.
Yeah, we didn't pull anything out of the bag.
You got your dungeon cards where you start. Well, actually, you start in the prison, then there's dungeon cards, and then eventually you'll find the entrance to the mansion, and you draw from the mansion deck.
And we have the orange cubes that represent your food, the pawns that represent your people. We have little cards that represent what you pick up, the different gear, and the monsters that you encounter.
Yeah, your character cards, all with various different strengths and weaknesses. You got the 4 stats, creative, mind, compassion, and aggression.
Yep, and they're all represented by these square tokens. And we have the manual.
It was an extremely fun game when we played it with 3 or 4 people. You start off in the prison, and you have a whole bunch of different ways out. The encounter strength is depending on the number. It's also color coded, so 1 green is easy encounters, 2 orange are the medium encounters, and 3 the triangle red are the really difficult encounters.
As Chris said, you set up starting in the prison, and you have to wander out, and you preload the rooms with a certain amount of
4
of food and stuff, and you go in, you can explore, you can pick something up, you could possibly encounter a monster, fight the monster. It works really well for 3 players, 4 players. It's not too bad. But when you get past that, as the guys go out, the guys going later in the turn, there's nothing left in any of the rooms.
Nothing to do, so you just move, and it always seems like you're behind. The dungeon's getting explored, and you're just kind of like following along.
And because it takes food even to move after a few steps, if you can't find any more food, now you can't even move.
Well, you could take damage and move, but
but only so far before then you're dead.
Yeah, exactly.
This game was a lot of fun when we were playing it. It really failed when we got to the big group, when we really thought it would be really fun getting all the different personalities in there. But it really doesn't scale well as far as the fact that there's only 4 explore counters when you get into a new room. And once those are explored by people, there's nothing else to do in that room except for move on to the next room. But if you're player 7 going on, the room that you're like, there's just not enough stuff to do to keep everybody interested in, and it didn't scale very well.
So one of the neat things about this game is everybody gets assigned, as I said, a secret identity agenda deal. And you're going to possibly be a bad guy, the traitor who's going to try and screw with everybody else. Or you're going to be a hero who doesn't care if he dies as long as the guy that you need to get out gets out. Or you're going to be the VIP who doesn't give a crap about anybody, just wants to get out.
Yeah, you ought to put all that on component vision too. Those are all, you get the henchman, the hero, the VIP, the survivalist, the other VIP, another survivalist, the villain, and the psychopath. Those are all the different, what do you say, call them hidden
agendas. And depending on how many players you use, so many. If you don't, if you're not, you only a 3-player game, there isn't a villain. There's no
tells
traitor.
you right on the card how many people.
The game, basically, you're exploring the dungeon. The first time you go into a room, you get an automatic encounter. You either get food or some sort of monster. Monsters are good because you want to get experience that you can actually upgrade on your character stats to use the more powerful items that you could find.
Mm-hmm. You get all those little chips when you upgrade.
I mean, this game was fun when we played it with 3 people, but it really seemed bogged down, and wow, there's nothing to do when there's too many people to all the explorer tokens are done. So I guess I'll just move, and I hope I don't run out of food because, yeah, I mean, I can't pick any food up because all the encounters are happening.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. It's not it's set up for being able to take a lot of players, but unfortunately, if you get a lot of players, there's just not enough resources in the place, and nobody's going to. I mean, you should sort of treat it like a co-op game and work together. Well, I've already got 6 food. I'll leave that food for the next guy, but nobody does that. They're grabbing everything they can and fighting as many monsters as possible.
Well, when you look at the
Then you
different
get
roles,
stuck.
you got the VIP who just needs to get out. That's their qualifications to win. Then there's people who are trying to help the VIP to get out, but they don't necessarily know who the VIP is. So
It's kind of reminiscent of Bang, that you don't know who anybody is.
Yeah, a little bit of
Yeah.
that. Like
Because you don't even know the sheriff.
the survivalist could be like the deputy. To succeed, you must escape with at least one VIP or something like that. And the VIP could be the sheriff character or something.
But there is a rule in this. You are allowed to reveal who you are. You get some points for doing that, but if you reveal who you are and you're the VIP, all the bad guys knew who they got to kill. Or if you reveal I'm the hero, I'll die as long as this guy gets out. Well, now I'm the VIP. You just help me get out, right?
yeah,
So we got some neat mechanics here with like the different types of tokens for aggression, compassion, mind, and creativity. And each one of them has a white side, which means it's available for use, and a black side, which means it isn't available for use. And that is also your health. As long as you have at least one white side turned up, you're not dead yet. If all the blacks are turned up, you're finished. Well, you could be healed, I think.
I don't know. I think the rules needed to vary depending on the number of players. So, like, if you have 8 people playing, maybe have 5 explore tokens per room, and maybe make it optional to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Or something. I don't know. And sometimes you just get screwed by a really tough monster because not all the characters have high aggression, and high aggression you need to fight off the monsters. If you don't have high aggression, you're going to get beat up. It's about as simple as that.
It tries to make itself a dungeon crawler where you're a party cooperating together, but you just can't seem, because there's that paranoia of you're not knowing who anybody is. It's not like a bunch of adventurers because you're not traveling together. You're a bunch of people who are thrown into a room, and it's almost kind of like a Saw movie or something. Can I trust
I was
this
just
guy or
thinking
not?
that myself. It's kind of like Saw.
But what did you think about the different monsters?
I don't remember them.
They're all movie monsters.
Yeah.
Bad B-movie monsters.
Where is it?
There we
It's over
are
there.
in the Explore deck.
Still in the bag.
The Explore deck is... I like what they did here. They got different difficulties. The green 1 for the easy stuff. Then you got the orange square 2s, and then the triangle red 3s for the... Well, these are gonna be really dangerous ones. And you got in the ones. Let's see. You got fresh bread. You got a Walking Dead here. Attack 1, defense 2, reward. You get 1 food.
That's pretty easy for almost anybody to beat The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anybody with there are characters with 0 aggression that I just got no dice to fight with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be
And-
weird. And how do you upgrade if you can't beat stuff up?
Yeah. Well, you hope you find an item in a crate that is
Yeah.
just basically a free upgrade.
But then you get the monsters to deal with in the rooms. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't get to it or something.
Save yourselves, guys! Because that's the other thing. When you get attacked by a monster, that monster sort of attaches to you. And if you try and run away or whatever, it stays with you. But other people can come in and help you beat it up, but they don't have to. They can just walk by and say, see you and the monster, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Wrapping up for Monsters Manual. The theme, you are in a dungeon, attempting to escape from the fiendish plot where there's all sorts of movie monsters running around. You get that feel. It does the dungeon very well. It's 4 players or less. After 4 players, more than that, it kind of falls apart.
Feels a bit like Scooby-Doo without the cooperation.
Yeah. Easy to play. Yeah, but the manual, this 1 sheet of paper, it's nice that you've got your rules so small, but I think you could need a little bit more. There needs a little bit more explanation in places to clarify a little bit. And again, if you could make some sort of scaling factor so it would work with more players. Fun to play. Yeah, we had fun with this
I had fun
pretty
with
much
this
every
game.
time, except for, again, the big game where there were a bunch of people who couldn't do anything. So, I will give this game, I would give it an 8 because it's fun, but because it does need work to go on how the rules are, I give Monsters Manual a reluctant 6.5. I'd rather give it a higher score, but like we've said, it sort of fell apart when it got up past 4 players. And unfortunately, you've got it set up for up to 8 players. And them's the breaks.
I'm going to be a little bit more forgiving. I'll give this game a 7 because I did enjoy it a lot. Unfortunately, it's not a big group game, which is all right. It can be a smaller game, but if you advertise how many players?
8.
It goes up to 8. Yeah, you definitely need to add scaling rules because I don't know if you ever played it with 8 before and if you enjoyed it, but for us, the big game didn't work out very well because people were kind of sitting around the table. Is it done yet? Like, I got nothing to do. I'm bored.
Well, honestly, I had a hard time remembering this game, and I do vaguely remember playing it now that I was seeing it laid out and everything, but I haven't done this since the first season. I'm going to refrain from giving this a score because I honestly can't remember it. These guys have played it sooner than I have, so they had more recent memories. But yeah, they remember it a hell of a lot better than I do because they played it more recently. I wasn't in on that last game. So yeah, I do remember some of the things they were talking about, though, and that it was very difficult if you had low aggression and stuff, and you get a monster attached to you and you just can't beat it up and you're too far away from everyone, or they don't want to help you because maybe their personality or his secret agenda just didn't coincide with yours or have anything to do with you. It got really tough after a while, and of course some people hoarded the food and stuff. I think that was
You
might have
described
been
it
me.
pretty
Yeah,
well.
might
That
have
was
been
me.
you.
Yeah,
You described it pretty well. I think you
vaguely
could give it a
remember
rating.
stuff. No, I really don't remember that much. I'm going by what you guys were saying, and I know vaguely remembering
just
some of the
wrap it up.
things, the images and stuff. So yeah, I'm not gonna give this one a score. I'm just gonna give it an N/A for not applicable because I honestly don't remember. But I do remember some of the points that they were giving, but not well enough to give it a score.
Okay, that's it for this episode of the Gamers Table Independent Edition. Tune in next week for another episode where we review another game.
Hopefully one I remember.
So don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe on Google+, follow us on Twitter, because then you'll know every time exactly when a video goes up, and you'll never be wondering if there's another or where you guys are going. Okay, so see you next time.
Bye.
Well, so if you take a damage, I'll just turn my mind upside down. So I got 0. Yeah. Well, the tokens have a.
Bung, 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 bung.